Hello everyone, this is Dale Stratton at Dean Dorton. We're continuing with our core Excel tips and tricks for accounting and development video series. Today's topic is the basics of formulas and functions. A formula is really any type of calculation that you want to do in Excel. And these can be from basically adding up two constants all the way through some very complex mathematical and statistical formulas. Now, what I want to talk about today is just adding cells and numbers on the sheet. That's the most common thing that people do with an Excel sheet, so let's examine that. To start with, I'm going to use a formula. So I'm just going to add up the cells from B2 to D2. So I'm going to start with the equal sign. All formulas and functions start with the equal sign. That way Excel knows that you're trying to calculate something. So I'm going to click or type B2 plus C2 plus D2. Oh, notice I missed, and my formula is covering up the D2, so I'm going to go type the D2. So you can click or type in your formula. When I hit the enter key, notice it just adds up these three cells, and I get a total of 42. The next method, I'm going to show you the sum function. A function is just what Excel has already included for me to do the math. So for instance, I'm going to put equal SUM, notice there is a sum written there, parentheses, and notice it wants me to give it numbers to sum up. So I'm going to highlight the range I want the sum to affect, which is B3 to D3. End my parentheses and hit enter. So this is summing or adding to the left. So the Excel function sum knows to add the cell range that I give it. Here's another way to do a sum. So I can use the auto sum button. Now under auto sum there are other options, average, count numbers, max, min. I'm going to stick with the auto sum. So I'm going to click auto sum, and it says, okay, I'm going to equal sum B4 to D4, and it's just guessing at the range that I want to add up. If I wanted it to do this range, I would simply highlight this area to replace the B4 to D4. Since this is what I want, I can accept this with either the enter key or clicking auto sum again. Notice we're still adding. Next way, I can highlight an area of numbers and the blank spaces to the right. If I do this, when I hit the auto sum button, it automatically puts the sum in the right-hand most selected column. And it would also do a row underneath as well. Right. Here's another method. If I want to use the same formula or function in subsequent rows, what I can do is simply use this little black box down here in the bottom right corner. I get these little black crosshairs on it. I can click and drag down, and when I do, it copies the formula for me, and it keeps it relative to the row it's on. So for instance, the formula here was sum B9 to D9, this range. This formula is sum B10 to D10. So by using the black box and the crosshairs, it copies down and keeps the range relative. Now one more nice little trick. If I'm using a formula or function, I want to fill it down to the end of my information. I can use this little black box, the crosshairs, and I can double click. When I double click, it automatically copies the formula down to where the end of the list would be. And notice we go from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now one more time, if I highlight all my numbers and one blank row, hit the auto sum button, notice automatically fills in my sums below. That's the easiest way to add things up on an Excel sheet. Thank you very much. Have a great day.